start talking about your hand. I assume, is that all 100% now after what happened at the start of the summer?
Yep, hand's feeling good. Got through the Big Bash fine, and I was probably a little bit worried there towards at the start of the Big Bash, having not played new cricket and it not feeling 100%. But it's really good at the moment. Managed to have a couple of weeks off after the Big Bash, so the hand's feeling great.
Did it take longer than you first expected to get right?
It took longer than I expected, but the doctors and surgeons were pretty much spot on from when they told me when I did it. So I was probably a little bit impatient at the start and wanted to get back, and I think that's obviously natural. As an athlete, you want to get back as soon as possible, but 12 weeks was the right amount of time, and it was a long 12 weeks, but it was nice to get back.
Particularly in that time, there was obviously the Test series on, and there was a bit of talk from selectors about maybe playing a second spinner and bringing an all-rounder in. What was that like, knowing that you weren't in contention for that, given the injury?
It was obviously tough. Injuries in sport happen, but obviously I did that one to myself, so it was a little bit harder to take, I guess. But I think the positive was that it gave me a real chance to focus on my T20 cricket and captaining the Scorchers and being as well prepared as I can be for the Big Bash. So whilst it was disappointing to not play for Australia for the whole summer, I thoroughly enjoyed my time playing for the Scorchers and captaining them, and it was unfortunate that we missed out on finals, but it was nice getting back and playing some white ball cricket for an extended period.
Have you been able to laugh about how you heard it yet, or is it still a bit too soon?
No, I laugh about it now, yes, and I'll laugh about it for a long time. I think it's I think obviously at the time 12 weeks seems like a long time, but look back now and it went pretty quickly, but it certainly won't be punching any walls again.
You need a punching bag or something in the rooms? Is there something else that you need?
No, I don't need any punching bags, nothing. It's a lot calmer these days.
So you obviously had a great BBL with the Scorchers, and I guess a lot of the times as well, in at the back end of the innings, those last 5 overs, does that give you a lot of confidence that that's a role you'll be playing for Australia as well?
Yeah, it's obviously been my role probably throughout my whole career, is making sure I'm in at the end. I learned a lot of good lessons throughout the Big Bash, and just about making sure I am there at the end, and if I am, I can really cash in towards the back end. So I'm sure that'll be my role for Australia, and hopefully I can go out there and execute.
Do you have confidence that if you come in, say, in the 18th and 19th over, do you feel in yourself that you can hit a six or a boundary first or second ball, or do you feel you need a couple of balls to get in?
I think you're certainly confident you can do it. And the game situation obviously dictates if you give yourself a couple of balls to get in, but I think it's all mental. If the team requires me to go out and hit a six off my first ball, I'll definitely try. And you just hope that it's in the slot and you can get over the fence.
I was looking back, your international debut was a T20 against South Africa at the Wanderers.
Yep.
Do you remember much about that game?
I know we lost in the last over, which is disappointing, but I think I made about 30 not out, or maybe I got out in the last ball, or I can't remember, but it certainly went by quickly. But it was a great experience. My first international game for Australia at the Bullring was certainly an eye-opener. I played most of my games in Australia at the Wacker, where the crowd's behind me. For that to be my first game in international colours was a steep learning curve, but one I thoroughly enjoyed, and it's nice to be back.
You hit 4 sixes in about 10 or 12 balls or something. You obviously, was that just sort of the inexperience and not really having any fear of your debut, do you think?
Yeah, there was certainly not much fear. I was playing against some of my idols, Morné Morkel, Dale Steyn. I was a kid. I was 18 years old, having the time of my life playing cricket for Australia, and it was a shame that we lost, but I look back on that as a very fond memory.
Is it sort of a similar attitude you have to have in the back end of the T20 innings, just to have no fear, and do you feel you're able to tap into that sort of youthful feeling a little bit?
I'm not sure. No fear. I think it's just backing your skills and backing your ability to execute under pressure is what is really important, and that allows you to stay calm and stay free in the mind at the back end. So that's certainly what I'll be trying to do this series.
Just talking about your Big Bash, the one innings in particular against the Heat, where you got 90 odd, I think, and just looked like you were hitting every ball for six at one point. What do you remember of that innings, particularly at the end?
Obviously, it was a great innings for me personally, and for the team to make our highest score in the Big Bash history for the Perth Scorchers was great. Perth Stadium's a great place to bat. Once you're in and at the end, it can be quite hard to defend as a bowling group. And we've seen throughout the whole Big Bash, if you miss slightly, it goes for 4 or 6. And that day, I just sort of had one of those days where everything I tried to do came off. I got dropped on 40 odd at one point, and then after that I just started swinging as hard as I could, and it was great. I had a really good partnership with Cam Bancroft, and it was a great win and gave some great momentum at that stage of the tournament.
Is there any, I know the Big Bash can be a bit of a blur sometimes, is there any one of those shots in that innings in particular that stands out that you might hit 3 in a row at one point?
Yeah, to be honest, by the third one I was blowing hard. I was buggered. We have a big focus on running twos at Perth Stadium, so I was blowing pretty hard, but they're all good fun when they clear the fence.
You mentioned that time away that you were able to focus on Big Bash cricket. Was there anything in particular that skills that you tried to hone during that time, or something you tried to work on?
I practiced hitting sixes. I think over the last 4 years, my sole focus has been to wear my baggy green as much as I can, and I guess 2020 cricket and one-day cricket probably got put on the back burner for me personally when it came down to training. So as soon as my hand was alright to hit balls, I worked with Scotty Muirman in at Muirman's, just trying to find my swing again and clear the fence, and it was actually great fun. It was a great way to train, and it was refreshing. So I sort of went into the Big Bash with a lot of confidence that I could clear the fence when I needed to, and then obviously I still feel like I've got a long way to go in improvement with my short form game, and I'm learning a lot getting back into it now, but the Big Bash was certainly a lot of fun.
Obviously Test cricket still part of your plans. You've been Bangladesh tour later this year. Is that a big target of yours for this year?
Yeah, it is. Obviously any Test tour you want to be on, but I'm just I'm in South Africa right now, and really looking forward to getting back into playing white ball cricket for Australia, and we'll see what happens with Bangladesh.
Is your bowling your full capacity bowling? You didn't bowl a huge amount of the Scorchers.
Yeah.
But you're 100% all good.
Yeah, that's the beauty of being captain. You can just bowl yourself the soft overs. No, it's a joke. Look, at the start of the Big Bash, I was pretty underdone when it came to bowling. I'd hardly bowled. I think before the first game, I'd bowled twice in the net, so I physically wasn't ready. And I built gradually throughout the Big Bash, and had a couple of games. I think our bowling's always been our strength. We've got so many options with the Scorchers, so I bowl when I think I'm required. But look, I'm ready to go this tour, and hopefully I can have a real impact with the ball.
Just make sure you're bowling your brothers on strike.
Correct. Exactly. Yep. There's 2 soft overs. Beautiful.